What's up, everyone? It's Syntax Squid, and today we're going to cover a couple small topics in Python that I wanted to touch up on you today. We're going to talk about variables and inputs and f strings. Now, don't worry, this will not be long. These are all super fun topics to talk about. So let's start with variables and inputs. And variable, you just assign them by giving them a name. So name equals Marcus. You just give them a name, a single equal sign. Remember, not double. That's for comparison. And a value. Let's do Marcus. Think of a variable as like a box that stores values. So this box that's called name has a value called Marcus. So let's print out this variable, check its value. It says Marcus. Now let's talk about how you can reassign variables. So let's say I wanted to change this variable later on in the code. Let's just put name equals John. Then print name. What happens is it will print Marcus and then John. What's happening is it is reassigning the variable. It's almost like taking the original value out of the box and placing in a new value. Let's talk about some naming conventions in Python. And never, ever start a variable with a number because that will crash the program. You're not supposed to start with numbers. You can have numbers in the variable, but it cannot be at the start. Now this is valid. Name 1 is valid. Also, you can either use snake casing, camel casing, whatever casing you want to use. I honestly prefer snake casing, but camel casing is like this. You have a lowercase, then uppercase for everything else. Next, let's talk about inputs in Python. Inputs you just call by writing input, parentheses, and we'll add a string that says, what is your name? If we run that, it'll ask what our name is. I'm going to put my name, Marcus. So as you can see, we put in our name, but it didn't do anything. Now this is because it's not storing to anything. Now if we store this to a variable called username, and then run it, the same thing will happen, but the variable is being stored in a variable called username. So let's do something with this variable actually, and let's do print username. Now let's run the code. Write our name. It says Marcus. It's printing out our username. Now that we know about variables and inputs, let's quickly go to our next file. And if you haven't created this already, it's okay. You can either write it in the same file or create a new one. But I'm going to go to my fstrings.py file. And fstrings are fairly simple. Let's copy and paste all this code. Then get rid of this. So instead of us just printing out the username, let's print some text. Now usually we'd have to go print hello plus username and then plus how are you. Now we don't want to do that. Instead, we can do something way simpler called f-strings. Note, if you're not using a version later than Python 3.6, you cannot use f-strings. But all you do, you write f and then your quotations, and then you can do hello and then Marcus. Instead of Marcus, you do username, and then you can put how are you. Let's run this, and let's put my name, Marcus. Let's say, hello Marcus, how are you? See how much simpler that is than having to concatenate everything and have to do type conversion? It's way simpler. If we entered a integer for this, like 5, it would say, hello 5, how are you? And one thing I do want to tell you, if you want to make this an integer specifically, you put int and then input. So this just tells the computer that it's an integer. So now, if we do 5, it'll say, hello 5, how are you? If we were to concatenate, it will say you can't concatenate a string to an integer. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I just wanted to give you a quick touch up on variables, inputs, and f strings, so that way we'd be ready for if statements on the next video. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out, Squid Squad.